My friend group started playing Vintage Story. They turned one of their hosted Valheim servers into a Vintage Story server and played for a bit. Then I found out about it and I hopped on in. And it's a really interesting game. So I want to kind of go over my experience, what I've been doing, what I've been getting out of it. If you for some reason enjoy, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts down below, because I've sunk like 100 hours into this game in the last week. Yeah, like over 12 hours, close to 16, 17 hours a day, because I got addicted to nonsense, and then I got fixated on a roleplay aspect of my playthrough, and yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff. Now, have I been making a lot of progress? Not really. That's kind of a weird thing about how I got into the server, that I came in mid-October, so one of the worst times to start. However, we already had copper tools and stuff, so I got a little bit of a boost and an edge, and I haven't even touched any of the metalworking. Like, this is one of the things I hate about modern survival games. Like, yeah, you have to go and smith and heat the bars and do every little meticulous thing if you want to get the tools, and then they have like low durability and they're overly needed for all the stuff you have to make. So I ignore that. We just have multiple people doing their own thing. And that's another weird thing about this game. Like, everyone has a dedicated specialization, and that's the only thing they do most of the day. So that's another, like, weird thing about survival games. So what I got into was alchemy. Now, alchemy is not vanilla, but it seems like you really need mods to get the most out of this game. There's so many mods, I don't even know everything that's going on. I don't even know what is and isn't vanilla fully. I know you can like hover it and then it'll kind of say if something's from a mod or not. But I just kind of do things and go, yeah, that just seems like a nice, engaging experience. And it turns out to be a mod, such as the skills mod. So this feels so natural and well implemented. I thought it was like a part of the game. And the game feels like it would be much more miserable without it, but I think a lot of people just play with a certain set of mods, like, yo, just do this, and then Vintage Story is really nice, and that's a lot of people's experience. So yeah, I've been mostly farming. The experience on this is insane, because you get like 0.3 to 0.5 experience per thing, and that means I've just been harvesting like thousands of crops to barely get any levels. Everyone else is having a better time, but it just kind of shows like, yeah, that's how I can sink 100 hours in. If I just walk in a direction, I harvest everything along the way for 4 hours. Boom, there goes my night. 2 Joe Rogan podcasts, GG. And yeah, everyone's just kind of been doing their own thing, so I have this cool little potion set up. Like, I want to make things look nice, and I want to tell my own story, and I think this is a really cool way of doing it. Where it's like, there you go, you got the little potion depot. You come in, you grab what you need, and then you can fill up as you go. We got some extra bottles. We have everything. Looter's Delight. Well, not everything. There's a couple of potions that are whatever. You know, we got fighter flasks, so if someone's running dungeon, someone's going to be looting or mining, speed flask, and then the recall potions. So yeah, these are busted, and it's one of those things where, man, I would really hate playing this game without it, because you have to go so far in this world. Like, this is actually a pretty serious survival game, to the point of being annoying about it. And that's also why most time just like, yo, I'd rather play Minecraft. Realistic survival games and mods are cool for like the first time, but after the second time I have to make a pit kiln for every little thing, and then you need like multiple things of ceramic and you have to wait minutes every time. I'm kind of over it. Same, like I said, it's very similar with the blacksmithing, where it's like, oh, if I have to actually like make a copper pickaxe to start mining anything, and then I have to use like 75% of my copper pickaxe on more copper for my next copper pickaxe, and I get like a little bit of bronze, like tin and whatever, tin and bismuth to make bronze, and then I have to spend like another hour just kind of smelting everything. No, thank you. Oh, I forgot to make this point while recording, but another thing I don't like about realistic survival games is the amount of time it takes to do things, where it's like, oh, a whole in-game day, 30 minutes of your life just to have something smoke. Or getting the charcoal that you need. There's one thing where it takes like 14 in-game days to pickle something, so it's just 7 hours. Wow, 100 hours sounds like a long time to be playing the game. Well, it takes 20 real-life hours for crops to grow. Also, we have like block falling disabled because, oh, you have to put up supports for the mine. Screw all that stuff. Can't be bothered. But as like a more interesting, detailed Minecraft, yeah, that's actually, like, this is pretty neat. And currently, I've been working on making wines of poisonous stuff. So, like, yeah, we got some black nightshade juice that is curing into wine right now. So, I decided to become, like, some kind of depraved poison brewer. And that's again where I got like super into the RP, where it's like, yeah, I'm just like a dirt hut cretin hermit doing all kinds of weird stuff. You know, what experiment is going on over here with the saw and sides, and I'm gonna put like poisonous wine in here. Because the problem is there's the perishing mechanic. So if I just put the juice, it'll turn into vinegar, which is also what I've been doing over here. So the reason why I have so much vinegar is so I can pickle all the crops that I'm making, because the food perishing mechanic is another like sour spot in this game. Yeah, I get survival games do that, but at some point, like I have a farm, and again, I shouldn't have to spend half of my time like playing around in the farm and then cooking or preserving the food, and then I just have to do that next year or in 20, 30, 40 in-game days, where so much of your time is just taken up by nonsense. The progression is so artificially slow. Like, yeah, you use mods for that, and with all these friends and all these people running around, we're getting past some of that stuff. So I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not trying to like hard rush or beat the game. I just want to make something pretty. And I feel like I'm having a really fun time setting up all that, collecting various fruits and turning them into wines, or finding the most poisonous things. Oh yeah, so going back to like what started my poisonous dive is I like ran out, I harvested a mushroom, and I'm like, oh, this mushroom hurts me. I harvested another one. Oh, this mushroom hurts me. And then I found a death cap. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just going to be the poison merchant. That's kind of the interesting thing about the alchemy mod, is that you actually have to use a poisonous mushroom to make the base, and then just kind of grew from there, because oh, you find a berry, and this berry is like super lethal, minus 60 health for Miserion. I've never heard of that. Is that a fantasy berry? Is that a real thing? I don't know. Fun fact, it is. And it's very toxic. I found some crow's eyes, and they were like minus 40 health. It's like, oh, that would kill me many times over just for eating a berry. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to collect these things. I'm just going to collect and brew poison. So here we have some bitter nightshade wine. That's chilling out over here. I found a display stand in one of the dungeons. So we're doing all that. And then we got some extra things where I can like cook and candy things. Berries are busted. So I'm still like min-maxing and optimizing and learning the game and kind of taking it a little too far. So we have like a berry hallway, found some quartz, made some glass. That was really cool. So we got multiple greenhouses up and running. We are in the second year. This says year one because the server owner wanted to change the default day setting. Maybe there's a year zero. I don't know. Like I said, I jumped in around October, and I've just been kind of doing my own thing. So I'm trying to get like seeds, and I'm trying to get multiple farm setups going, if not for the food preservation and the food rotting, just to have like some kind of crazy accomplishment of things I'm doing. Then we have the berry farm, and that's what goes into the skills and non-vanilla stuff. So I've just been kind of like managing this and slowly doing my own thing and trying to plant a lot of berries. So the min-max is like, oh, black currant, they propagate, so they'll like keep on growing. You can have a large amount of them, which is really nice. So more harvest, and they don't prick you when you touch them. So like half the berries, you know, if you walk into a blackberry bush, you're going to have a very bad time. Something died in here. All right, sucks to be that. And now I can do that, so I can get my experience, I can get this, and I'm making candy with it, making wines and juices. So I'm having all kinds of fun, and then eventually it's going to turn into a lot of resources, and I have a greenhouse already. So I feel like I'm doing something. I feel like I'm making good, fun work in progress, and kind of showing off my the little story I'm telling. And I do have stuff. I've been accumulating and going into like dungeons a little bit and just kind of like mass exploring and foraging throughout the land. Now the potions really are helping with that and making the game playable. And I like found some copper armor, so it's like, oh cool, I don't die immediately. But since I'm not doing the annoying smithing stuff, I'm kind of at their mercy. I'm saying like, hey, you need to get this chain armor for the under, and then you can do like brigandine outside. And I think that's a really good combination, and then you don't have to use too many materials. Like the brigandine is just plates, and maybe we make one of the automatic hammers, then we can make plates, and then we can use the leather for all that stuff. And it's like I hate to do it myself, so I guess you guys can do whatever you want over at the forge and waste materials to make stupid things. So yeah, like 80% of my game has just been going through dungeons and like using valuable inventory slots to collect things I find cool to deck out the base. Now that I have like enough brewing and potions to last everyone on the server a really long time. So I can just kind of grab some mushrooms, do that whenever, expanding this on the potions, just kind of like waiting for things to flower. Actually, I didn't talk about the greenhouse. So because I am the poison brewer, we have like all these things, blood heath. I don't know if it's actually poisonous in real life, but it has blood in the name. And we have a spider flower over here, and then the rest are actually like very dangerous berries and poisonous stuff. So I think I have like a cool little setup and an aesthetic going. So it's like, wow, yeah, survival game, however many hours I've been playing. I'm not really trying to like progress or speedrun, and this seems to be a brutal game, but we have mods making it easier, and it's still like tediously annoying and all that fun stuff. So it's just interesting. I'm more just like here to accomplish my own goals and not beat the game. And I think a lot of people are just kind of in that right now. So it's been its own weird and slow experience of doing whatever, mostly just trying to like unsettle my friends where they walk in one time, it's like, oh, the soil is all bones now, and he's got a dead body over there. I wanted to find one of these in a bed and tear it down to actually like tell the story of, oh, did the potion brewer accidentally drink his own thing? Did he take his own life with one of his brews at the harsh reality of this world? Did someone poison him by switching up one of the labels? You know, just fun, stupid stuff like that to entertain me as I play 16 hours a day for absolutely no reason at all. Actually, the reason is there's nothing else to do. Pokemon has waited over a year to give us no news. Well, not over a year. Is waiting a year to give us news, which is the craziest thing that's never happened before. I should grab some food and a few more supplies before heading out on another adventure. And then I just kind of want to talk about the other things in the game while I roam around, and that's how we're going to wrap up the video. So the biggest problem with the game is combat, and a lot of people think that, because if your core mechanic sucks and it's kind of gating a lot of things, especially in a survival game, it makes the experience really bad. The best way I can explain it is that's like the worst of Minecraft and the worst of RuneScape combat in one. You just kind of walk back and forth stat checking each other, but it's not challenging in any way. Dark Souls is a challenge because there's actually like mechanics and you have to roll and read and time the enemy attacks. With this, you're just kind of like walking at each other and then jank happens and you die, which is really cool when it takes so long to get materials. And the bullshit part is it feels like you have to play for 50 hours or so just to be able to take on more than 2 enemies while you're just kind of huddling up in a hole the entire time, slowly amassing the resources. Another problem I have with the game is the exploration, that the mods make it a lot better, but even with mods, this feels like a much worse Minecraft exploration experience. You have to travel twice as much with half the inventory. Like, your inventory fills up so quick. I get the survival aspects. I get, like, the point to some of these things. But then when you actually go out and try to play the game, it's ridiculous. And the temperate zones are also massive. Like, I kind of understand this is a real world. And for the most part, your playthrough is locked to the area you spawn in or wherever, like, you keep generating your world until you go, oh, I like this. That's where you are. You don't get to see the other half or the other 80% of the world. Oh no, I forgot my recall flask. I was about to talk about, yeah, and without the recall flask, you know, the game just feels extra... Wait, please tell me I have one. Oh, I should actually just load up my backpack storage, which is also a mod, with recall flasks, so this never happens again. Damn. We're a long way from home. So that's going to be a fun walk back. But yeah, what I was saying is, you know, you can go and explore and find an ocean and just boat and run across the land forever in Minecraft, and then hopefully maybe one day find your way back home. But the Nether also opens that up, and I feel like that'd be another good thing for this game in the future. So my thought with this game is to have a void dimension, that way you can travel faster, because a temporal dimension or a temporal storm or rift or something, like, that's just gonna have strong enemies and it's gonna be impossible to travel through. But if you could have like 10x the travel, that would be pretty nice. That way you could actually go on a long adventure, get some exotic resources, or go to a dungeon that hasn't been cleared, and then actually do things, and then come back and be able to work on it. But that kind of goes against the survival thing. I think that's where Minecraft really shines and why it's like the most popular game of all time, because it has the right balance of challenge, difficulty, engagement, and then reward. Remember when hunger was added into Minecraft and it just felt like, oh, that's it, Minecraft is dead forever. But then people adjusted to it and they're like, yeah, we're fine with this. This kind of works out just fine. And then other things where you can actually feel your work be rewarded and you can do things. There's still challenged at the end, like, oh, wither farming. You gotta get pretty far ahead to be able to do that comfortably. Same thing for like the dragon, exploring the end, and once you've like solved the game, gotten really comfortable, yeah, those things are a lot easier. There's still things to do, there's still a challenge there, and also the game isn't over when you get netherite. My understanding of this game is that it's kind of over once you get all the Jonas stuff, but even then it's like, oh, all this stuff is way too annoying to build. So yeah, you spend all the time to get some cool quality of life things, and then you have no reason to use them because you've beaten the game that much. One of these things is a teleporter. Base return, teleporter. God, it's, bruh. You have to make the thing and then align it, and then it costs all this for a single use port back. When you see that, it's like, oh, the game is just like that antagonistic. You're not allowed to explore. You're not supposed to play it like Minecraft unless you're doing mods and stuff. That it's supposed to be just like unnecessarily slow and hard. And I don't think people have time for that these days. Like I said, it's a fun experience once, but people have either already done a Minecraft mod or played some kind of other more hardcore challenge kind of game. 2025, this ain't it. But the game is also a great foundation for mods. But at that point, okay, why am I just playing this instead of Minecraft? I find Minecraft to be a lot more fun. So this is if you think Minecraft is like too easy and casual, and you just want things to be more annoying and tedious. Yeah, sure. And I've been having fun. Like I said, I've been playing 16 hours a day since I picked it up like a week ago just to do nothing and have my own little fun building and nonsense. And that's considering I am playing with mods, that this boat is from Primitive Survival, and you're supposed to like make a sailboat, but taking that into consideration, like, oh, imagine putting all the work into a sailboat and then you only get to go a couple of blocks over the ocean, or even if you spend a lot of time over the ocean, it's like, cool. Now it takes an infinite amount of resources to get back. And after playing Minecraft, you kind of want to explore the world and see all the biomes and collect different things and bring them back to your base to do fun stuff with. That's not what this game is about, unfortunately. And even with Minecraft, there's like less need to actually go out super far because, oh, finding a village is pretty cool, and then you can get like a super acceleration there. So yeah, a more hardcore game like this one isn't going to make it to where, oh, you find a village and you beat the game effectively from that, or traders being overpowered. Traders suck in this game. So I have all these gears, and every once in a while you find some cool stuff. But I like bartering. I like a better selection where it's like, oh, this dude, I have to travel like another 1,000 blocks to find a trader because this dude only has clothing and doesn't have anything good for me to sell. I can't get any fun stuff from that. So, like, the systems are just so... Oh, we have some interesting world gen coming up. So there's no other way of grinding or accelerating things. Like, it'd be pretty cool if you could be a farmer, and then you could trade your resources for more gears, and then skip a lot of the BS from the smithing if you don't like that. You know, using traders as a way to exchange goods and resources using some kind of limited material as a currency. Bartering, as you would, where it's like, yeah, I find this BS, and I don't have to be forced into engaging with 20 hours of metal smithing for no reason. So that way you can kind of use it to subvert gameplay you really don't like, instead of actually just kind of using it to cheat your way past progression and stuff, which is generally how it works in other games, or like, yeah, I can run ahead, loot something, and now I'm fully geared out when it was supposed to take like 20 hours to get there. That's in a lot of games, and that's kind of a fun thing about it. But this, it's also kind of similar on the dungeons and progression and stuff. But that's where the combat comes into play. So if you want to farm the rusty gears and maybe buy something, gotta go into dark, deep, scary places that have very powerful enemies. But you have to spend, you know, the dozens and dozens of hours to get gear to where you don't immediately die in the broken combat. But then that's also a lot of exploration, where the map is mostly empty nothing for a long time. And then like you find little ruins, it's like, okay, cool. And maybe you find a couple of places that are like interesting dungeons to explore. But then the loot inside of them isn't great because you're not supposed to use it to cheat progression. So yeah, you just kind of do whatever and you bring back some cool stuff in your small amount of inventory spaces, and then you just kind of, it's a very localized experience. I think that's how it's supposed to go, and then eventually you branch out and make your grand adventure for story progression. But outside of that, like, yeah, it's kind of that slow, miserable experience with some of the mechanics making it not really fun, like the perishing mechanic, where it's like, okay, cool, I come back from my adventure, now I have to remake all of my food. I get it from a survival element, but it's also not fun when it's like, oh, I have an excess of berries that I brought back, but they spoil too fast, or I do all these other things, and now I just have to do it again. So 20% of your gameplay is just going to be remaking food, and then 25% of your gameplay is just going to be smelting out and repairing your tools and making new tools for all that stuff. Then the other 40% is exploration. There's no time for fun. Actually, recording this video also kind of shows, man, the time just burns so fast in this game. It's an hour of recording, most of which is this other little bits just kind of like showing off my house, but then like the maintenance and housekeeping inside of it is so much longer. I think that's just how most people's experience is going to be. And I can see like a challenge aspect that would be kind of fun. But then that's just kind of like playing the game to break it with progression cheating. Like you go malfactor and then you just like hyper loot things and you just have like a hovel. And that is kind of a weird thing because if there was any more powerful loot in the game, you would actually just be able to skip the entirety of the game without even trying to dedicate your entire playstyle to it. So I can see it where, oh yeah, you crush dungeons and then you harvest everything and that just gives you natural food. I guess there is fun to be had with like some development tech and really trying to get the most out of mastering the world. And that's for other people, but yeah, I'd rather go to Pal World or Minecraft if I'm going to waste time in a game. I've still had fun and we've been kicking it with friends. That's cool.